Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I am so fucking ecstatic because today I'm finally going to interview Ginny herself from Friday the 13th, Part 2, Amy Steele. I'm really excited about this because I've liked her not just from Friday the 13th Part 2, but from other things she did like April Fool's Day and Walk Like a Man and this really memorable episode of Family Ties that she did back in the day. And I want to talk to her about all that stuff today. It's going to be fucking exciting. I couldn't find her for the longest time. I've been doing this podcast 2 years. There's so many people I wasn't able to find that eventually I got in contact with, and I'm so happy about it. So, here is my interview with Amy Steele. Hey, Amy.
Hi, Tommy.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, I am spectacular. Spectacular.
Oh, good.
It's such an honor. I grew up watching you in so many things, not just Friday the 13th Part 2, and I appreciate you taking the time today.
Oh, well, my honor as well. My pleasure. I just sort of I'm just arriving back to my house, so I'm going to sound a little distracted for a minute.
So, going back in time, did you gravitate towards acting early on?
Okay, so are we going to start? Are you recording now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Did I gravitate? Yes. As a kid, I was always in like community theater groups, and I won the 6th grade acting award.
Nice. So you did school plays and community theater?
Yes, a little bit of community theater, but in high school, I sort of dropped all of it. I didn't do it in high school. And then I didn't really remember until I found some kind of a journal or I think it was some kind of a worksheet in school that said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I wrote actress. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. But I had never had the idea when I did some community theater that I wanted to be an actress. I don't remember that part. Like, I never thought, oh, I'll be on TV. That never occurred to me.
That's really interesting because I've talked to a lot of actors, and it seems like a lot of them didn't do theater in high school either. I myself, tried to do it, but I ended up working backstage doing props. There's just something about high school theater. It's just something for the popular kids, Or
I don't know. It was either the popular kids or also the theater nerds, it could have been, I don't know. It wasn't something I did at all.
Yeah, there's just something about it that just, turns you off.
Yeah.
So you're originally from Pennsylvania?
Uh-huh. Yep, I'm from outside of Philadelphia, called Westchester.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Pennsylvania. I heard it's really expensive to fly from California to there.
Well, I don't know. It's probably the same price as everything else.
Yeah. So I was reading that you went to Florida to major in communications and broadcasting. Is that where you got into modeling?
Yes. Well, what I did is my parents divorced, and my father moved down to Florida, and I was going to school in Connecticut. And I went down to visit him over Christmas vacation, and a couple of days before I was ready to go back up, he said, I can't afford to send you back to school because I was going to a private school. Mm-hmm. He said, why don't you just go to school down here? So I went, okay. So that's how I ended up in Florida, and a friend of mine was a model down there, and she said that I should go to a go-see from Elite Modeling Agency who's down there looking, on scouting people. So I met them, and they said, why don't you come out to New York? So I said, okay. And that was, I guess, in 77, 78, something like that. And so I went up to New York, and then started doing print work, and then started doing commercials, and then went into theater. I mean, not theater, but theatrical stuff, film and TV.
Mm-hmm. And you ended up studying acting in New York?
Uh-huh. Yep, I studied acting and singing and dancing, and I roller skated all over New York. That's how I got around. And I also rode a bike around there. It was the best, and never got killed or hit. And then I was cast in New York. I was cast for Powers of Matthew Star. So then that moved me out to L.A. And then I ended up kind of being bi-coastal for a while, and then moved to L.A.
Did you study with anybody famous in New York?
I don't know if I'm famous. I mean, I studied with a guy named Fred Karaman, but in LA I studied with Milton Katselas, who was the Scientology guy.
Right.
Yeah, so I got into that for a little bit. So I'm just not much of a, I didn't really realize the depth of all the Scientology until I got out. I just have never been called for a cult. Like, look at that show on right now called The Wild Country, or Big Wild Country, about the Rajneeshis.
Right.
And I think, oh my God, I was in Hollywood at that time. I never got invited to a party of anything. I've just never been. I'm not a cult like, I guess I just don't have that sign, but yeah.
Yeah. I've never been a follower either.
Yeah. Because some people are, some people aren't. You got to get invited to this party, and lo and behold, and I never even got invited to the party. I don't even have any good stories about it.
Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of people, though, who study with Milton Katselas and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know you did a lot of TV commercials. Did you do some for Burger King?
Yes, I think I did Burger King. Yep. Yeah,
Adrian King did too at that time.
Yeah, there's a lot of Burger King and McDonald's, TJ Maxx, a bunch of that stuff going on then.
Yeah, so many actors of your generation, they did all the Burger King commercials, though.
Well, back then, I don't know about now because I don't do commercials now, but you could make a lot of money on a national commercial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, yeah.
You didn't have internet or cable or anything like that. All you had was 3 channels, and they ran the crap out of it, and you could actually make a living.
Yeah. Well, from what I heard now, it's a lot less, but still a lot. I mean, I would take the money for commercials now. It's still a lot, but a lot less than it was back then.
Right. Right.
Your first movie was Fat Chance?
Yes.
I never saw this movie, but how did you get cast in it, and who did you play?
I just auditioned. I went up for a movie, and I auditioned for it, and I played a girlfriend. It was a very interesting sort of early internet kind of concept. I mean, it's an old concept. So these 2 people became pen pals, and then when it came time to meet, neither one of them wanted to meet because they were both overweight. Very un-PC thing to happen these days. So the female, she asked me to go meet the guy, and the guy asked his friend to go meet the guy. So the guy and I ended up hooking up, and then both of the more overweight people got really mad that we hooked up, even though it wasn't really them. So then at the end, it's a happy ending. Everybody goes with the people that they like. So, it would not, I haven't talked about that for a long time. It wouldn't have gone over very well now, although it was a very sweet movie.
Yeah, I think Shallow Hal closed the bookend on that.
Yeah, probably. I don't know what that is, but...
It was a movie the Farrelly brothers did in the early 2000s. It was really mean-spirited.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get anybody anywhere.
Yeah. And
it doesn't move our society forward in any way.
Yeah, and I did something similar to that when I was a senior in high school. It was like, before social media, we had AOL messaging. I told this
Mhm.
I told this girl that was going to a rival high school that I didn't have a date to my prom, and she said she'd go with me. And I lied to her and told her that I wasn't fat, which I was. And then she met me at a school at a swim meet. She didn't say one word to me because she was struck about how fat I was. So it was
Um,
it was on me.
right. See, these things happen, and
Yeah.
then, but it doesn't exactly promote sort of authenticity in our culture or world, does it?
No, but I was 17, so
Yeah,
I was stupid.
exactly. But when you're 17,
Yeah. What I was 8 years old the first time I saw Friday the 13th 1 and 2,
mhm.
and back then they would play them late at night on HBO, and I remember when I first saw you in part 2, I was like, oh my God, it's Penny from Walk Like a Man.
Oh, that's so funny. You saw that one first.
Yeah. So how did you get lucky into being cast as Ginny?
Oh gosh. Oh, well, I was in New York, and I went up for an audition, and they told me it was Friday the 13th part 2, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be a horror person.
Yeah.
Should do now though. But anyway, back then, the only person that was really a horror queen then that I really knew about was Adrienne Barbeau.
Right.
And so I thought, well, no, I want to do like John Hughes movies and things like that. And so I just went for the audition, and I don't know. I know Adrienne King has a great story about hers and how crazy it was, but
Right.
mine, I don't really remember it being that traumatic. I remember just kind of going and reading, and I don't really even remember if maybe I went back a couple times, but I just don't remember it. So I don't think anything was traumatic enough to stick with me.
Mm-hmm. Last year, I got to meet Steve Dash at one of the last conventions he did, and I told him about how I never liked that mask that Jason wears in the movie. He looks like an amateur Klansman, and he said, not really. I rocked it really well.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. It's funny. A lot of people have different feelings about that. The flour sack or potato sack. Some people say it's much creepier than the hockey mask.
Yeah.
And so I've heard that a lot, that it's really creepy. But I don't know if I've heard the Klansman thing, but definitely could be.
Mm-hmm. How did you like working with the cast?
The cast was great. Everybody was really fun, and it was just a really. I mean, we're all young in the same boat, trying to get a job, and we were also grateful to have a job. So I mean, everyone's really tired because you're working so much at night. But the cast was incredible. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John Fury. I met him back in April at a convention. Very nice guy.
Good guy.
His reaction was priceless when he looked down and saw that I had toenail polish on.
What did he say?
He didn't say nothing. We took the picture, and then he looked down and saw it, and then he just went back and sat down.
Oh, God. Yeah, John, he's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah. Russell Todd, I interviewed him a couple years ago. He was one of my earliest interviews. He was a nice guy.
Really nice guy.
Stu Charno, if I could take back any interview, he would be one of them. He has multiple sclerosis now. I don't know if you know. And he was very nice the first 10 minutes, and then he got very belligerent and rude and bitter as 10 minutes wore on, and then I just cut it off, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. I wonder what happened.
He's just...
maybe he was in pain or something, because that's not really like him.
Yeah, well, like I said, he was very nice for the first 10 minutes, and then I don't know what happened. I do know that, multiple sclerosis, it can attack, the mental system, as time goes on and stuff. It's really sad. But
well, sorry about that on my cat's behalf, but yeah, I have a feeling you're dealing with some other stuff.
yeah, it was really unfortunate. Tom McBride, oh my God, I remember when I was a kid and had seen his death, in that wheelchair tumbling down the stairs. I remember just because I have a dark sense of humor. I was giggling out loud, but now, like I spent I spent a couple months in a wheelchair a couple years ago, and so it's not as funny to me anymore.
Oh my God! Why were you in a wheelchair?
I had a car accident and I broke my leg in 7 places.
Oy.
Yeah.
How is it now?
It will always be full of arthritis, but it's a lot better than it was. It's gotten better over time.
Oh, good.
Yeah, my sense of humor is so dark. My favorite line you have in the movie is when you're in the bar and you're like guessing what Jason is like today, and you say "frightened retard."
I know. Do I say that, or somebody else says that?
I swear you say it.
I know somebody else said that too. Like, so I just say, "What if he is just a frightened retard?"
Yeah.
Wow, God, that is talk about an un-PC.
Yeah.
It doesn't move our culture forward.
Yeah. I always loved that cute little dog in the movie.
Yeah, so sweet, huh?
Yeah. It just, your reaction to that dog showing up, thinking that it was Jason, it's so heartbreaking, but so beautiful at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
How come they didn't ask you to be in part 3?
They did. And I think that what happened is, if I can remember correctly, that we asked for a little bit more money and they said no. And so I guess I just didn't do it. I don't think they gave me really a chance to like come back and really negotiate. Because the script, my mom found the script in her attic like 5 years ago, probably 10 years ago now. And I read the script, and it was a really great script, so I have no idea why I wouldn't have done it. Other than the fact that my agent probably said, well, don't do it. Don't worry, they'll come back. And they probably said, forget it, we're not going to do it. What a bummer.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of Lisa Wilcox, Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, and then they didn't bring her back for 6. Although I've been told by some people that she was a diva, that's why.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember you did one of the earliest episodes of Family Ties.
Yes, I did. That was really fun.
I loved that episode. I remember they started playing Family Ties again when I was like 12 on one of our local UHF stations, and I remember at that time I was going through puberty and relating to that episode, because we all had that fantasy of making it with an easy older girl,
Exactly, I know. They really hit it on the head, didn't they?
Yeah. And that show, wasn't even a hit yet, and they were trying to get their feet wet, but they were doing some pretty controversial subjects on the show, especially in that first season.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of them. Yeah.
That was good.
Was that good working with Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, we had a really, really wonderful time working on that, and he's just a really good guy and really easy to be around, and the whole cast, they're just, Meredith Baxter, Bernie, at that time, I remember watching her as a kid and thinking she was so pretty and so kind, and then all of a sudden I was working with her. It was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was very happy when she came out a few years ago.
Is she lesbian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It didn't make huge headlines or anything, but I remember she did some talk shows where she talked about it.
Oh, good for her. Isn't it great when people do whatever they need to do, come out or do whatever they need to do to just be happy and to live?
Yeah. And on one of those talk shows, Michael Gross called in and he vocalized his support for her.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's very rare, too. You did an early episode of the A-Team as well.
Yes, I did, Mr. T.
Yeah. And I noticed Dennis Haysbert was in that episode. Him and my mom grew up together and graduated in the same class.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. Was that a good experience?
Yeah, it was really good. Mr. T's kind of funny, he wears all those necklaces, and I just remember asking him, what do you do at night? He takes those off. He said, oh, it depends who I'm sleeping with. And I said, well, that's an interesting story. So, but that was fun too, with all those guys, Dirk and George, and, it was another kind of thing, like, wow, I'm on this. And then also I did a Chips episode, and that was another thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm on Chips. How funny. So all those kind of classics,
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still on, They're still on, like MeTV and stuff. I mean, people love those shows.
Wow. That's so big. I like that.
You were on a short-lived series called The Powers of Matthew Starr.
Uh-huh.
What was that like?
That first series I was on, and it was good, and Peter Barton and I were friends, and it was good, except for, when you do a series, it's like you never know when it's going to end.
Right.
And for me, I didn't really like that feeling. So, I'm like a little ADHD, I like novelty. I love new things. And so to know when something is, that I have to do something and it's not going to end doesn't really suit well for me. And after the first year, they let me go. So they didn't pick my contract back up or something like that. So it was kind of mutual. I mean, I was really hurt at the time, believe me. I was like, oh, God, really? They don't want me? But then there's another part of me that's like, phew, I get to go pursue more exciting things. So, it's kind of how life happens sometimes. You don't want things to happen, but really they're kind of gifts. So that's why I really like doing things that would end. Like I really like doing a film, or that's what I wanted to do, something that was going to end.
Yeah, and you work steadily when you do a series and you get a check every week and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a great thing. And Peter Barton, he later did Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah, I know. How funny is that, huh?
Yeah. There was always weird stunt casting like that in those days. People who worked on the same franchise, or they worked together in the same movie or something previously. It was always going on. Now it's very rare. But you got to work with Louis Gossett Jr. like right when he won the Academy Award for An Officer and a Gentleman.
I know. I think I worked with him after that, though, right? Or before? I'm not sure.
It was right after. The movie had come out, and I don't know if he exactly won the Oscar while you guys were shooting the first season, but it was around that time.
I don't think so at the same time, but he is a really good guy. Really kind. Kind of like one of those sort of really quiet, kind people.
Yeah. And he's been through an awful lot, too. I saw his interview for the Archive of American Television. That guy has dealt with so much racism and adversity in the business, but he's never let it get to him,
Yeah.
He's an amazing man. And
he is.
And James Caron was in a couple episodes. Did you get to work with him?
Yes, and I worked with James Caron on another show, too. It was in Hawaii. Was it Fat? I don't know. It was Fat Chant? No, that was another movie. Jake and the Fat Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did an episode of that when I was on there.
Wow. Yeah, we just lost him recently. He was a great actor.
He was. Aw.
Then you went on to another series called For Love and Honor.
Mm-hmm.
That was an Army show.
Yeah, that was really, really fun. That one, a good story about that one is that I said to the producers, hey, what if my character, I think her name was Sharon, what if she kind of like sings? You know, she's like trying to be a singer or something. And they said, okay, right? So they wrote the next script, and there was a scene in there where I sing. And they said, okay, we're going to put you in the studio. And I said, oh, no, I don't sing. You don't? No. You just hire somebody and I'll dub them. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was another good cast. Yaphet Kotto, Rachel Ticotin, Kelly Preston when she was super young.
Yeah.
And John Mangatti. I wonder whatever happened to him.
I don't know. And I wonder what happened to Pete Kowenko.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great actors. Army shows have never really lasted that long. Like, remember China Beach?
Yeah, I did an episode of that. I love that show.
Mm-hmm. Did you like doing that?
Yes, I really like doing that. That was a really good show.
Yeah, my mom and I used to watch that every week.
Hmm.
Then comes the timeless horror cult classic, April Fool's Day.
Yes, April Fool's Day.
How did you get cast?
Well, Frank Mancuso was producing. He was one of the associate producers on part 2. So he was producing April Fool's Day, and so he hired me for that role.
Wow. Did you like the fact that the movie was different than Friday the 13th Part 2?
Yeah, it was great. Because also there was a whole cast of characters I didn't work all the time. Kind of nice. And plus we shot it on Vancouver Island, which was a beautiful, beautiful place to be.
It's an ensemble piece too, and I was reading that Paramount at that time wanted to make ensemble mystery movies, and that year they got to do 2. They got to do this, and they got to do the Clue movie.
Huh.
Yeah. And you got to work with Fred Walton, who directed When a Stranger Calls.
Yeah, Fred Walton was very cool. He was very cool. Plus, he was a very kind of quiet, supportive director, but kind of knew what he wanted. He was like, go ahead, do whatever you want, and then he kind of knew it. He felt like you were in good hands. So like you were kind of missing something, he would sort of pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks for you.
Yeah, and he also likes to build up suspense in the stories that he tells.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he actually called me a while ago. They were going to do a screening. They're going to do a screening of April Fool's Day, and he called everybody to see if they could go to the screening. I couldn't make it. It was going to be in LA, but it was nice to hear his voice.
Yeah. Deborah Goodrich, I've interviewed her 3 times. She's a national treasure.
Yeah, she's great. She's got that book out.
Yep, she sent me a copy.
Working it.
Yeah, she sent me a copy of that book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm going to.
It's good.
She's so kind and smart, and she loves it when I tell dirty jokes.
Oh my God. Oh, that's sweet.
Clayton Rohner, I haven't had any luck getting him on. What was he like?
Clayton Rohner is very funny. He's just a kind of funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been in touch with him for years, but he's a good guy. Maybe he got mad at me because I sold him my car way back when, and I think it broke down, so I didn't know anything was wrong, but I don't know if he holds that against me to this day. I'll have to check it out next time we talk to him.
Tom Wilson, of course, from Back to the Future. He's a genius actor.
He's great.
Yeah, was he like...
He was really funny.
Yeah, because he's a comedian. Was he just like cracking everybody up all day?
I think when you put that many young actors together, everybody's trying to crack everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a big old laugh fest.
What was Deborah Foreman like?
She was really fun too, but she was very much in those characters. You know, that took a lot to play those two, Muffy and Buffy.
Yeah.
So she was very actor focused, I would say. You know, well, she needed to be playing those 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one actor I interviewed who worked with her said that she can be a challenge at times.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as far as that's the first time I had met her and the only time I've worked with her. But there were moments where she was sort of present and then other not. But I sort of thought it was because she had a lot of work to do in that film.
Hmm. Now, my earliest memory of you, of course, was in Walk Like a Man, which I referenced earlier. It's such a funny movie. It's not great, but it's funny nevertheless.
Hmm.
How did you get cast in that?
I just auditioned a bunch of times, and that was a really fun film to work on because Howie Mandel made me laugh from the second I stepped onto the set to the second I left. I never stopped laughing. And Christopher Lloyd was there. I mean, he was funny. It was just funny. Everything was just funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling Chorus at one point, I said, "Oh my God, this is going to be such a good movie. I just can't stop laughing." She said, "Just remember, Amy, if it's really fun to shoot it, it's probably not going to be good when it comes out." Really? And she was right. But it was really fun. So you know what? I get to take that with me, that I had that much fun.
It's funny you say that because some of the most successful comedies in history didn't have a whole lot of laughter on the set. There was a lot of tension,
Yeah,
like Tootsie.
that's what her point was.
Yeah, yeah, Tootsie especially. That was one that I heard that had a lot of tension, and it became one of the funniest comedies of all time. Did Howie display any signs of his now famous OCD?
No, I don't remember that. I don't, like, maybe he did, but nothing stuck with me. I mean, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, that's what's happening, or he wouldn't shake my hand, or, no, I don't remember that.
Huh. Because I know he said that he's had it his whole life and stuff. It boggles my mind how he was able to hide it when he was at the height of his fame.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Colleen Camp is hilarious. How is she on it?
She's funny. She's just kind of goofy. Her role was just so goofy, and she's a little scattered in life, but very, really, really friendly and really cool, but just very, like, kind of wacky. Exactly how you think is exactly what she was like.
Yeah, she plays really like wacky roles, and she's on my dream list of people to interview. I hope I get to someday. She's so good in everything I've ever seen her in.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd. He was at the first convention I ever went to, and I couldn't believe how tall he was in person.
Yeah. He's tall, dude.
He's towering. I mean, really towering. The scene where Bobo gives the little girl the Teddy Ruxpin at the mall, that scene just warms my heart to this day. Because
Aww.
that's the moment when Bobo finally becomes a man and he's not a wolf anymore.
Yeah. Mm.
It's such a touching scene. But
Sweet baby.
yeah, there's some really funny stuff. Like, I love it when he's trying to change his clothes and the old man is there in the dressing room and he's like, "Are you a homo?" He's like, "No, I'm Bobo."
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Or, you take him to 7-Eleven, get him a big gulp.
Oh God.
There's some really funny stuff in that movie. You got to be in a TV remake of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Got to work with the
story. Here's a good story about that one. So,
okay.
When you're on a film set, you're in these things called honey wagons. So you're waiting, while they're setting up and things like that. And you can be in there for hours. And there's certain people that when they get into a honey wagon, me being one of these, and also I found out Louise Fletcher is also one of these, that as soon as you go in there, it's like, I don't know what it is. There's like a drug that's pumped through there. You immediately go to sleep. I would fall asleep the second I walked into those things. So I remember being dead asleep, and there's a knock on the door. And it's also that when you hear the knock on the door, it's so jarring. It's like, oh God, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I answer the door, and there is not Lynn Redgrave. What's her sister?
Vanessa.
Vanessa Redgrave is at my door, bringing me a bouquet of flowers, thanking me for being there.
Aww.
I just went, thank you. I mean, I just have never felt so welcome and appreciated and also embarrassed at the same time. But it's just the best. I mean, they're just, to have that, I mean, that's a pretty, I just felt so grateful. That's all I can say.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, they were two very talented sisters.
Yeah.
Did you like the original?
Yes, I did. Huh? So good.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, let me just ask you how much time you really need, because I sort of budgeted 45 minutes, so I just want to, but I don't want to cut you short, so I need to.
Oh yeah, I'm almost done.
Give me an idea.
About 6 more minutes.
Okay.
Or less.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
So what made you want to get out of acting?
Well, in some ways, I think I sort of aged out. So again, it's one of those things: is it me or is it them? I had my kids, and I don't know if it was unconsciously, I sort of wanted to move on in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't one of those really diehard, consummate actors who felt that true life calling to be an actor. I didn't have that. I lucked into all these roles. I had a great time. I did movies of the week. Those are my favorite thing, by the way. Movies of the week, because they ended and you were on the set long enough to really get to know people.
Right.
And you could have some sort of depth in the role.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a great time. I did episodes of TV shows where I was a nun and a police officer and a hooker all in one episode. I mean, how lucky is that to be able to have that in your life?
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't, going to give up my life for acting. And I wanted to sort of move on with my own personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to have a little bit more control over my life. I didn't want to just be dependent on somebody picking me and liking me and plugging me into something that they needed to be successful in. I couldn't make that transition of I'm going to be a great actor.
Right.
Versus I need to be picked by them and to feel okay and approved by somebody else. So I think I sort of faded out and they kind of faded on me at the same time. And that's when I went back to school and said, okay, what am I going to do with my life so I have a little more control over it? And then I ended up going to getting my graduate degree in counseling or therapy or, to be a psychotherapist, which I never thought I would be. But the study interested me. And also I didn't want to be a statistic. My parents had a horrible divorce, and I didn't want to get divorced. And I wanted to, so I've been married for 32 years, and I'm really, really happy, and I have 2 great kids, and I have more control over my life, and I may not be as rich as I thought I wanted to be. I'm not as poor, but I'm in control. So it feels really good. It's kind of like a sweet spot. So it's good.
Oh, that's just wonderful. At least you're happy,
Yeah, and I get to go to conventions and see people. That's about something I did 30 years ago,
Yeah.
40 years ago. God only knows how long it is. The people are still grateful for the time that I did have in the business. I mean, that is the icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You did Tales of Poe about 5 years ago. How did that come about?
That came about because I met Bart at a convention, and he's just a really good guy, and I really liked him. And he said he's doing this movie, and he had kind of a good arty eye. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. So that's just how it came about.
Mm-hmm. Just did it as just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
I was listening to some other podcast interviews you did to prepare for this, and I noticed in them you said that you always wanted to be in a John Hughes movie. Did you ever audition for him?
I don't know if I did. I might have, because I think that during that time when I was in Hollywood, that I'm sure I did, because every young actor probably auditioned. I don't remember it specifically, but I'm sure I did.
Did you ever audition for anything that became super iconic?
Yes, and that really hurt me. Number one is, I'll give you the second one.
Okay.
I auditioned for Lethal Weapon 3. I think it was the one that Rene Russo did.
2.
Went up for that for like 4 times. Didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. But the thing that got me the most, that still was the only thing that like really kind of hurt, was Northern Exposure.
Oh, love that show.
Be the pilot, to do Jen Turner. What's her name? Janine Turner's role.
Janine Turner, yeah.
I really wanted that role, so that killed me. And then also I auditioned a bunch of times for China Beach with Dana Delaney's role. But the Northern Exposure one really got me.
You would have been good. You look like a Maggie O'Connell.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
I know. And then I saw, like, one day, Janine Turner, they did a People magazine thing, and they showed her motorhome with all pink and her pink poodle. And I'm like, that is not that character.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I still have my gripes about that.
That's unfortunate, but you would have been great, I think.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any upcoming convention appearances or anything you want to plug?
Let's see. I don't have anything at the moment other than I might do, I hope this works out. I hope I'm not speaking too soon, but in Portland, Oregon at the Hollywood Theater, I think they're going to do Queer Horror Night, and I really want to do that. So I just got an email from the guy today, so hopefully that will happen.
Well, I hope
that'd be really fun.
I hope that works out. I hope I get to meet you at a convention one day, whether it's in California or in Oregon or something. My dad lives in Marysville, Washington. I'm going to go visit him soon. Yeah.
Well, I hope to meet you too. I mean, I did Seattle at some point. Early in June. I think I did Seattle in April or something. I feel like I just did that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Crypticon?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
I've been wanting to go to that convention, but someday.
Yeah.
So, Amy, I thank you so much for your time, and you've just been amazing, and I'm glad everything's going so well for you.
Oh, thank you, Tommy. Thank you so much, and I'm honored that you even want to hear my good old voice.
You look and talk just like my Aunt Ruthie, so that's why I've always been a big fan of you.
Oh, good. All right, yay. Shout out to Aunt Ruthie. All right, well, take care of yourself, Tommy, and then talk to you later.
Okay, you have yourself a great day.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Amy Steele. Ain't she a sweetheart? Yes, she is. I like her a lot. Very nice lady. Great stories. Fucking awesome. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.